Easy. See
What's
real
good?
quick for this to pop up over here on the YouTube. Well, I always say that, but then I remember that it's streaming now. You know what I'm saying? It's just that
Right.
people won't see the feed for another couple seconds because they have that delay, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you get used to it over time. Let me
Right.
make
I
sure I
still
got
ain't see
my. Say that
the
again.
notification ain't pop up. I was saying the notification ain't pop up on my YouTube side.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I see it now, being live and everything. So I'm guessing you'll probably get it in the next minute or two. I don't know how quick that is, but usually for me, I get an email whenever I go live, like immediately. But it's like this
Right.
is unless somebody has stolen my channel, that email is completely
Uh,
gone.
yeah, it's usually like a 15 to 30-second delay. But
Oh, from the for the notification?
yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay, that's not too bad then. But then people still got to actually like get to it and click on it or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But so we'll give some people a minute or something to get in here. Then we'll start going down some things, talking about living that YouTube life. You know what I mean? Since we've
Right.
all been here for a bit, some of us longer than others, obviously.
You calling me old, man?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you and Jezzy.
I thought that. I was about to say. I thought that was a shot at me.
Yeah, like
It
you
probably was.
kind of been around here a while. You know people and stuff. You know what I mean? Like that have been doing this for years upon years. Whereas
Decades.
yeah,
About to be a decade.
like when Dells was on here or when we were on one of live with him and McFly, I was like, man, I was watching you like 10 years ago. I'm like, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I don't even know if I was aware of YouTube 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was the first sneaker YouTuber I ever saw was DJ Dells.
Yeah, Dell's, Jumpman. That was the prominent two I seen.
I'm not sure who the first person was that I first saw.
Scoop was popping heavy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scoop was like a superstar.
I think the first person I ever heard about on YouTube was probably Jumpman. Like the first sneaker YouTuber I heard about was like Jumpman Bostic and I think like Tony D2 Wild. Those were like the first two.
I mean,
Oh,
for
yeah,
me,
that was the notification right there. 2 minutes and 40 seconds late. But
Or
it's
I
there.
was about to say Nightwing when he was still kicks on court.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
guess
remember
that for me, based on what I was paying attention to, it would have been between Seth Fowler and Tony D. Because I remember seeing a lot of his videos earlier on, Tony D, that is.
Yeah.
But I also think around the time when I started watching was around the time when I started paying more attention, and that's when like Ultra Boost and stuff were kicking in, and that's where the Seth Fowler thing comes in. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
he was all about him, at least for a while. Him and what's the guy's name? He does the videos with his brother, Fomer Simpson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I see people are starting to trickle in now that this notification has made its way out there by seemingly
Yeah.
carrier pigeon, but whatever. So, real quick though, before we go getting on into things about what we're here for, start letting you guys do your little intros and everything.
that was your shoe, bro. Did you see it?
Hmm?
So that was your Air Max that was on the screen just
Oh,
now.
yeah. 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 She had an Air Max in the hand.
Oh, nice. That was one of my more successful things from last year. Should have waited, but you know. Jeezy, yeah. Oh, are you busy?
Nah, we good.
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jezzy Christ, aka Thriller. You can find me on YouTube at the same handle, and you can find me on Instagram at Jezzy Christ 1. And yeah, let's talk about some of these horror stories and ups and downs.
Oh yeah. Excuse me, HomeGrown Kicks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy HomeGrown Kicks. You can follow me on IG, HomeGrown_Kicks, Twitter, HomeGrown Kicks. Follow me on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, all the above. Hey, and I'm just ready to talk about my experiences, man. Give y'all some insight and hopefully help out the new YouTubers and everyone else.
All right, sounds like a plan. And also the links are in the description for YouTube and Instagram for everybody here.
What up with it? It's your boy McFly, man, the hardest working man in shoetainment. At it again, man. I feel like I'm over here so much that Shoes Up gonna start charging me rent in a minute. You know, it's like I just moved in. But either way, man, you can go ahead, check me out, subscribe on YouTube, follow me on IG, screen name the same. I also have a Funko Pop channel. McFly Funko. You can check that out if you want to. Trying to upload a vid every day until the end of the year. So we like 8 days in. I got 8 videos. So I'm 8 for 8 right now.
All right, cool.
But, yeah, let's go ahead, man. Let's get into it.
All right, sounds like a plan. And so for anybody out there, Yellow, welcome. Appreciate you stopping by. I see Jezzy just fell out. It happens. So we did this, when was it? I forget exactly when, but it was probably like a good 5 to 6 months ago. Basically just sitting around, got some people involved to talk about their YouTube ventures, getting started, staying in there, kind of maintaining the channels, growing the channels, all that stuff, everything associated with it, the ups and of course the downs, because you got to talk about both sides of it. So that's what we're going to be here doing today. I got a couple talking points put together, you know, just something loose, kind of vague, so we can have some conversations about certain things. But the first thing we're going to do, which is what often makes sense, it'll go around and we'll talk about why you started your channel, right? So I'll kick that off with myself since, you know, it's already on me right now. So for me, basically I had some free time, you know what I'm saying? And I needed something to do with it. A couple months prior to me actually starting the channel, I was at the mall down in El Paso and I saw Skip Goes Hard. Like, I didn't know him at the time. He was recording and talking to his phone about shoes or whatever. So I asked him afterwards, I'm like, oh, are you making like a video or something? He said, yeah, man, follow me on YouTube. And I was like, okay, so apparently this is just a normal average guy, you know, just out here doing normal average things and all that stuff. And later on, that was kind of an inspiration for me to say, you know what? I buy some shoes. I can talk about some stuff, right? We'll see what happens. Bought a camera, and several months later, a couple of years later, whatever, here we are. So that's it for me. Now pass it on over to Homegrown. You can tell us why you jumped into this world.
So I'm a collector, that's obvious, and collecting does not just stop at shoes. It extends to hobbies and things like that. So I'm a huge collector of hobbies. And those two things kind of like collided together, and a lot of people started like noticing me buying shoes and the amount of different pair of shoes they would see me have, and they were always asking me, well, man, how many pairs of shoes do you actually have? So a way to showcase them and a way to have fun started with YouTube, you know, YouTube and Instagram, showing pictures and then showing videos. And it just kind of, I guess, grew from there, or blossomed from there, as they say. I've also, like Shoes Up, ended up running into a YouTuber by the name of T Ward, YFHB, and noticed him shooting videos and was like, oh, okay, well, kind of like what Shoes Up Sleeves Down said, you know, he can do it, I can do it too. Might as well try it. You got a lot of time on your hands, and, you know, fill it with, again, another hobby. So yeah, that's how I ended up in that.
All right. And McFly.
Man, I think a lot of my friends was just tired of me seeing post shoes on Facebook. So they was like, man, you should do YouTube, because we tired of seeing these sneakers. And upon further research, I realized that there was financial capital that could be gained from YouTube. And anything that can help with this burden of sneaker buying, I'm willing to do. So initially, that's pretty much how it happened. My passion for sneakers led to me shooting the videos, which led to me being monetized, which led to me getting a check every now and then for just spending a couple minutes recording some shoes that I was going to buy anyway. So
exactly,
it's kind of a no-brainer for me.
And then somewhat of a follow-up question based off of that. Now that both of you, now that you've been involved in this for a while, are there any current like plans you have for your channel, like where you see it going down the road, any sort of vision or anything like that that you've been thinking about lately?
In the forefront of my mind, firstly, is editing. I want to advance my editing. I want to get a little crafty. It was a guy that I used to watch all the time. I don't know what he's doing now, but 5 Minute Sneaker TV. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him.
Yeah.
But I always liked how he edited his videos. They'd be real short, 5 minutes or less videos, but he packed so much into this 5 minute video. And I was like, you know, one of these days I'm gonna step my game up. I'm gonna take a class or something, and I'm gonna really hammer this editing, even though I know it's gonna probably destroy my frequency. But that's where I want to go next. Editing, networking a little bit more, because I'm a recluse, man. I don't get out much. I'm not in the YouTube streets very heavy. So networking and editing are my two priorities for 2021.
All right, cool. Homegrown, anything for you?
Photography. It's really, of course, they go hand in hand. So it's really kind of piqued or increased my interest in photography. I want to be able to put out better photos, because like in the beginning I started putting out like some edited photos, but the video and editing side kind of took up so much time that it more so took away from the photography editing side. And I also want to get into possibly another channel about cars, because cars is like one of my hugest passions. And hopefully this will help me, you know, get into that lane as well. So,
all right, I got you. Sounds like a plan. And as far as things go for me, early on, since like anybody else that jumps into this for the most part anyway, I had no idea how this actually worked, as far as what, just you make your video, sure, but how does it actually get to anybody? I didn't think about any of that up front. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, let me just put a bunch of videos out there. Right. And so now one of the things that interests me the most about this is the whole back end side of it. You know what I mean? So I try to learn what I can as far as making all the back end changes you need, as far as tags and when to post and like what to add to your videos to make people actually see them, which we'll get into some of that stuff later. But that's one of my things, you know, because I didn't really have much of a reason for jumping in, you know. It wasn't to gain a certain number of followers or anything like that. I just wanted to put videos on the internet, I guess. And so by that meaning, you know, I guess I was successful immediately. But now that I've got some kind of idea of how this works, it's cool to actually see what it takes to kind of get your videos noticed and actually see if it works or not. So that's my side of it. And then obviously eventually to, you know, have some better looking videos, like kind of like McFly was talking about, add in some editing, you know, to make them, I don't know, just the presentation a little bit better. Now, but as far as all that goes, as far as kind of what we alluded to, getting people out there watching your stuff and making the videos, one of the things that is important about being out here is growing the channel and just making sure people actually see you, right?
Right.
So in you guys' opinion, whichever one of you wants to go first, what is it that seems to be the hardest thing or the easiest thing about making people want to see you, and any tips you might have associated with that? So,
the hardest thing about making people want to see.
Yeah, like once they, because obviously once somebody tunes in for whatever reason, they found your video, right. Maybe they just saw a link on Facebook, maybe they just saw it on that end screen pop-up thing, you know, like where it suggests things. They click on it. Like obviously that's only a small piece of getting somebody's attention. You still have to hold it, right?
Right.
So looking at it from that side, like, what do you have to say about that as far as getting people's attention and holding on to it that has worked for you?
As far as holding people's attention, because like if you look at the algorithms, people don't have a very long attention span. But honestly, holding people's attention, it's more so a game. It feels more so like a game of chance, where you might have 100 people that watch your video in a given day. And out of that 100 people, you might hold the attention of maybe 20 or 30 people, because some of those people might like the way you deliver it, and the majority of those people might absolutely hate the way you deliver it. Like, you never know. There's always little small nuances to what could attract people or what could turn people off. So that's a fine, subtle game within itself. And in my opinion, if you worry too much about that, then 9 times out of 10, you'll end up like burning yourself out, and something that started as something you enjoy will quickly turn into something that's more of an annoyance. So in that retrospect, I would honestly tell people, to be yourself, to simplify it the most. So, I mean, just be yourself, because people are gonna like you. Some people are gonna dislike you. So, I mean, that's something that you really can't control. But hey, do what you do. Do what you feel is best for you.
Yeah, I would totally agree to that, because again, you can sit there and try to be like the person that you grew up watching or whatever, but then you basically just become a bad version of that.
Right.
People are going to be like, well, why would I watch this when this is already doing it so much better? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like if you've ever seen Who Has the Heat, and then you see some imitation come along. Not quite the same, right?
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Speaking of which, Who Has the Heat season 6 will be debuting in March. Y'all be prepared for that, man. It's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a movie, man. New upgrades, new things. Y'all gonna love it, man. Well, I hope you're gonna love it.
All right.
Yeah. Figured there was an opportunity to throw a little plug in there for you.
Indeed, I appreciate that.
That's no problem.
Yeah, for me, I try to focus on commentary, because 9 times out of 10, the majority of the people are gonna have the same shoe.
Yes.
We all review a lot of the same things. I try to keep my channel different in reviewing things that you don't normally see. I go after the diamonds in the rough, the stuff that maybe most people, you hear people talk about it, but they're not in a rush to get it. I find that those videos do a little more damage than the videos that you're trying to be first, or trying to beat everybody to, or shoot it everybody has. My most viewed videos are really videos that I didn't think would do well. I thought they would break, and now they're multi-thousand viewed videos.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll have a video that goes up, you may not even get 100 views on it, and then you check back a month later and it's 5,000 some kind of way, and you're like, how did that happen?
Right.
But I try to give I know Shoes Up always picks at the fact of honest reviews, but I always try to give my honest opinion about a shoe. And hopefully people will resonate with what I say and hang around like, okay, he's right. Or actually hear something I say, apply it, and if it's accurate, then hey, well, I can listen to him because my feet are similar to his, or my situation, or whatever. And I try to bank off that, because we're all essentially doing the same thing, realistically.
Right. And I will say, little warning to you, I guess, up front, or not warning, but there was an advertisement for your channel in one of my upcoming videos, because again, like, I can tell people how I feel about an Ultra Boost, right? But I often urge people to get that second opinion, because I'm only one person. Maybe you have a foot style that isn't like mine or whatever. So go see if somebody else feels the same way. You know what I mean? Because if you're not able to go into a store and try it on, so be it. But real quick, SLK50 has a question. He says, what is the right wordage for the description to help promote your video? And stuff like that we're going to get into in a little bit later. When towards the end I'll go into like the YouTube studio. But the biggest thing, and you guys can weigh in as you see fit, is what you have in your title and what you have in your tags, you also want in your description.
Yep.
So if your title says Adidas Ultra Boost 3.0 multicolor on feet review, you don't necessarily have to say that exactly all word for word. It helps,
Right.
sure. But in your description, make sure at some point you're saying, hey, welcome to my Adidas Ultra Boost review. This is the multicolored colorway for the 3.0, blah, blah, blah. And then also along with that, you're going to want to throw some stuff in the description that matches with the tag. So if your tags are like Jordan 1 on foot, Jordan 1 sizing, put something along those lines into your description. Some people will just copy and paste what's in the description into the tags, or the other way around. That works too. But on the off chance that somebody actually reads my descriptions, and if you ever have, you're probably going to get a laugh or two out of them. But if you go in there, you'll see I cram a bunch of stuff in there just so it lines up with the keywords. Because when you start promoting these and when you're trying to get people to come to your channel, YouTube looks at the repetition in the use of those, and it's supposed to help algorithmically. And I can't say it does or doesn't, but I will say I do that, and I seem to be doing all right. What do you guys have to add?
I'm in agreement 100%. Once I learned how titles correlate with the description and turn correlating with the tags, my channel saw significant growth. When I initially started out, I was just putting videos up, no description, no tag, no nothing. Then I started adding descriptions and tags, but after further research, I noticed that I was doing the tag thing all wrong. So it wasn't very official.
I'm a huge perpetrator of that. And me and my kicks can tell you. As a matter of fact, I've probably got to go back through maybe 15 or 20 videos and redo tags, because I was basically tagging for idiots. You know what I'm saying? Like they had no sense behind them. So yeah.
Let's see. And let me see if I can pull up stuff. Jeez, do you have anything?
No, I agree with the whole thing, because I had to go back to an older video just to see which tags created the success in a way for that one, and then apply it to my newer videos. So
and I'm gonna
verbiage
share my
and wording
screen,
is definitely a play on that.
So one other thing to add along with that, and again, some of this will come back up later, but if you look at, let's say you make a video on something that you made a video on before, meaning like if you did, in this case, you see those red 12s, but if you did a 12 video in the past, like the University Gold or Indigo or something, right? What you could do is if you come in here and you look on the right side under your analytics, and it'll show you what words brought people in for that video. So maybe use some of those same words, obviously change reverse flu game to University Gold or whatever the case may be, but it'll at least give you some building blocks. So you can go in there and you can look at that and see what worked in the past. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you make a video. You can just go and copy some stuff and just change what needs to be changed. And then you come back over to details, right? Somewhere in here. Where's all the tags, right? And try to, use as much as you can. I mean, I'm up 495 out of 500. So you just throw a bunch of stuff in there that makes sense, right? And hopefully it'll work out for you. It's one of those things where you just got to kind of look at your own trends over time and see what does work out, because you can apply that stuff to basically your whole channel. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the broader view of your analytics.
Agree.
Cool. So hopefully that answers the question that Slick 50 had. If not, throw it out there again and we'll try again.
You know what was very helpful for me? That tab where it shows you the times that the majority of your viewers actually watch.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was extremely helpful.
The what is it called? The audience retention tab or something like that?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's something.
That one, I will say, I totally see how it can be useful for most people. I have timestamps in my video, so it tells me nothing I don't already know. But well, moving to the next topic that I had written down here. So it kind of goes in line with like getting your videos noticed and whatnot, is that you don't have to go all in only on YouTube to build traction, right? You can leverage other forms of social media. So you got like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, I guess. You got a lot of options out there. So how do you guys use those other options in your favor?
So of course everybody knows about throwing up your advertisements through IG, or if you don't know, you can throw up your advertisement videos on IG through your stories or your feed. Twitter, although Twitter is a lot less clean, Twitter is an option. For me, I don't do Facebook, but for me, for whatever reason, Facebook is kind of slow. But I do use Reddit. Reddit is another one. I recently got into Reddit. I didn't know anything about Reddit up until maybe like a month ago, but I get a lot of traction on Reddit. It's almost like Instagram. You have your page. You can, well, no, it's more like Facebook. You got a page. You can start a group, anything like that. So I've got my main page. I've started a group in Reddit, and so many people are on there that you wouldn't expect. That's more so where you will find your international viewers and things like that. So from my point of view, those are some really good places to try and advertise your stuff and gain traction there.
All right. McFly, anything to add from you?
I use a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram. I don't really tweet. I don't get the whole concept of Twitter. I don't use it. I mean, I share stuff to it, but I don't check it. I don't keep up with it. None of that. I'm more of a beat the street kind of guy. You know, I get out here. I've got business cards. I actually got one downstairs. I should probably go get it. I've got business cards that I pass out everywhere I go. If I'm in the mall, I'm handing a card to somebody. I catch you looking at my shoes, you getting a card, buddy. 10 times out of 10. Don't let me catch you because I'm putting a card in your hand. You know, word of mouth from friends and family. I've got a ton of viewers from friends and family promoting me and telling their other sneakerhead buddies and all that good stuff. So that's where a lot of my traction comes from. Just word of mouth and beating the street and putting some paper in somebody's hands, man.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I don't get out much to really advertise for myself, and I don't have any business cards or anything. I don't really promote myself, honestly. I just don't. I was using every so often, if it's wrestling related, I'll put something on the Chick Foley Facebook thing, and every once in a while, because I haven't been on there lately in like weeks, I would put something on Juggernaut of Souls Facebook group thing. But lately, I've just been putting the videos up and kind of just hoping that it works out. But I obviously, for those of you who, well, pretty much all of you, you know that I do my share on Instagram, you know what I mean? So I don't get a lot of traction on anything there. When I look at my, you know, if you have like the business account or whatever they call that other account, you can see all your little statistics. Yeah. My stuff doesn't get seen by a lot of people that aren't already following me. So it's kind of just more like a reminder to you guys, like, hey, dude put up a video today. It's like, oh, hey, look, he bought some stuff because McFly told him to buy some stuff, right? All that stuff happens. So I put stuff out there, but I honestly don't know that it's really gaining me any traction because there's probably an aspect to it that I have not focused any attention on whatsoever. But who was it? The Wise Soul, I think. The Wise Soul was saying that he never even thought about using Reddit. So that means that somebody in this chat is walking away with some new information, and therefore this video is a success. So thank you to HomeGrown for making that happen. I do appreciate it. And JJ is asking, are timestamps a must? They are not at all.
Yeah, no. A lot of videos are still successful and gain traction without timestamps.
Yeah.
Timestamps are just basically, I mean, I would say timestamps kind of help, because you get the people that watch the first few seconds, and usually that's what they say. The first few seconds is when people decide whether or not they want to continue on with your video, because when people come in, they're basically looking to see the shoe. And they will fast forward through your video to find the shoe, and if they can't find it, they'll probably leave. And I guess timestamps would help in that manner if they actually pay attention to it. And we all know a lot of times people ain't paying attention. And timestamp will help them fast forward to what they're looking for. But timestamps are not a must. Not having timestamps could probably help you to push them to watch more of the video, which is what you want them to do, or timestamps could hurt it. I mean, I guess it's opinion based, I guess.
Because it's all about the individual that looks at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So there's no one size fits all explanation to, is it good or bad? You just got to pick which side you want to double down on and go with it. For me, I look at it as like, I do them, but I am in no way going to advocate for the use of them, because it's just extra time that I just don't see people needing to use, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. A lot of people will show up and they'll just click straight to wherever it is they're trying to go to, or they'll just jump down in the comments and ask the question, which is still stupid to me. But anyway, so people will jump in, they'll skip to wherever it is they need to, and maybe they'll notice this and like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll watch more of his videos if he's going to have more of this crap in there, so I can just skip to where I need to. And in some cases, over time, that has led to people subscribing, and then eventually they just start watching more of the videos because they're like, oh, this guy is actually like not bad at this. So now instead of watching the 2 minutes they need, maybe they also watch the 13 minutes that do nothing for them. You know what I'm saying? Other than entertainment. So this, in short, do you, and don't worry about the timestamps if you're not already using them.
I would suggest watching your analytics, your actual viewership. You can actually click on a video and it has like a bar that tells you what people are watching and what they're not watching. Like, for example, a lot of my videos, I put intros in them, but people normally skip the intro. It'll start off high, nosedive at the intro, and then come back up at the actual review, and then go back up at the on foot. So if you're noticing those type of trends, a timestamp may be beneficial, because they're not gonna watch the intro anyway. So just get them to where they need to be, so that way you're getting something as opposed to getting nothing. And with that being said, I'm probably going to put in timestamps. Sometime soon, because some people only want to see one thing. You got an intro, you got your review, you got your on foot. Some people may just want to see an on foot, and rather than putting up a 30-second on foot clip, you can grab them there. Like, okay, well, that's what they look like on foot. Maybe I want to backtrack, see something else. So I see how that could actually lead to something beneficial.
Where's the audience portion?
I'm definitely that. There you go.
Because like when you look at this, the average person watching your video is not subscribed to you.
Right.
Well, okay, more than average, basically. So what you're looking at is the casual viewer and hoping that you can catch their attention, right? Like, I know that if JJ all day comes around, he's going to watch the video, and I appreciate that, right? But if some random dude that's just wondering how good do these really look in person or whatever, they don't care about me. They don't care about my pickup story. They don't care about me driving back and forth between Virginia Beach and Newport News. They want what they want, period. And that's these guys up here. Sometimes they'll find what they want and then they'll trickle down into here, sure. But again, you just got to kind of pay attention to what's really going on. And what's really going on is a bunch of random people watching your stuff. Let's see, answer one more question before I get back to the talking points. So, do you guys record more than one video at a time? No post, but just record. Who wants to take that one?
I'll take it, since we talked about it backstage. I pretty much record as many videos as I can at one time. Like today, I'm going to record 5 to 10 Funko videos, and I'm going to record 4 or 5 sneaker videos today. I'm going to upload them, edit them, do everything that I got to do to them, and I'm going to set them to release at different times during the week. So that way, I don't have to bother with it. I work a crazy work schedule. I got my daughter in here that I'm about to drop an elbow on in a second. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff that I got to get done. I don't have time to be trying to knock it out through the week. So I just do as many as I can at one time just to get it done and then release it gradually.
So one thing you just reminded me of that I was going to touch on earlier, but, you know, sometimes repetition is fine. Talking about scheduling your videos and when to put them up. If you come to the YouTube Studio Analytics audience, right, it shows you when your viewers are mostly online. If you look at this little tab down here, now obviously that's only going to help with your initial views, right? Because if you put something out there and a bunch of your people are already online to watch it, it'll kind of help you gain some traction in that way, right? Sure. But long term, the video still has to be able to stand on its own.
Yeah.
So at least consider that when you're scheduling things, but don't hold yourself to it. You know, like me, I posted a video, my last video went up at like midnight, right? Because it just needed to get out there. But consider catering to your audience, right? Now, from my perspective, as far as answering your question goes, ever since I started YouTube, I've been a record more than one video at a time person, right? So if you go back and you look at my first 4 or 5 videos, something like that.
Yep.
They were all recorded in one sitting. I think it was like 6
Yep.
or something. And honestly, I think I recorded like maybe 15 videos altogether over a couple days and put them all up at the same time. And even still, if you look at what I'm wearing in the video, that's going to tell you when I recorded it, because I don't repeat shirts. You know, like once I've worn it, it's retired.
That's what made me notice.
So I'm all for recording more than one and just posting them when it makes sense. And wait, how did you just discover that chart this week?
As far as me and recording videos, I'm completely opposite from the two. I'm gonna tell you, I'm all over the place. I will, on occasions, record videos back to back to back to back to back, and that's only if I have, you know, the content or enough things to record back to back to back like that.
Yeah. If
I don't have it, I mean, I can't do it. Obviously, you can't do it if you don't have it. So a lot of times, like me recording a video, I'll do it like one at a time. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to do back to back to back. But most of the time, it ends up being one at a time. And that is also due to the fact that my channel is small, and I don't necessarily have, I ain't working off of big bucks here, you know.
Right.
I'm not getting helped by YouTube checks, but just another different perspective. So, you know.
Hey, one thing I would suggest to you, Homegrown, is you know, I mean, clearly you buy shoes. Clearly you had shoes before you started YouTube.
Yeah.
So I would think that you have shoes that you haven't reviewed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you don't ever say that you don't have something. There's always content. There's always something that you can do. Yeah. Before I started YouTube, I had 200 shoes. And in the times where I don't have something newer coming in, I review that stuff. Because a lot of people haven't seen it. It's better to put something up than to wait for long periods of time and lose your algorithm, lose your viewership, lose your audience, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just offering.
No, that makes perfect sense, man. I I always pull in knowledge wherever I can. I think the only reason why I hadn't done anything like that is because my biggest worry, and that'll probably go that's probably going against slightly what I said in the beginning, where I said don't worry about what people think, just do what you like. But in terms of viewership, my worry was like, it's a shoe that's already released. People have more than likely already seen it a million times. Are they gonna want to see it from me? But you know,
the thing is, though, it's going to be new to somebody, right? Like I've pulled out like the first half of last year. I was doing a lot of reviews over things that I had before I started, but hadn't worn yet, right? So I was pulling out all kinds of stuff. Some of it, yeah, people have seen like certain 7s or whatever. But then you have like these Presto or Hirachi packs or whatever that people hadn't seen, or maybe in some cases they forgot about. And so then you show it to them and like, you know what? Since these came out in 16, like they're probably not really sought after right now. So maybe I can go find them. So it might trigger somebody's memory to go back and get them. It might just be something new, but regardless, there's going to be some value in it. And I say the same thing about any new shoe that somebody buys, right? Anything that you put out there has an audience. It might be small, it might be big, whatever. It has an audience. So you just put it out there, let those people find it, and do whatever they will with it.
Right. Okay. Right? Well, there y'all go, people. Just because it's old does not mean it cannot be shown again.
Yeah. So, old stuff has value. I mean, I'm old and I'm still cool.
Yeah, right. I brought my business card back too.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So you got that. Then you got everything on the back.
Man.
Wow.
So, I might just get some Post-it notes or something and just kind of do that.
You know, I think my Kicks just prints his out like on a Word document and just cut them out on the paper, which is probably far more economical than what I did, but this looks a whole lot better. So.
Yeah. Okay. It's something to think about though.
You can buy business cards at Walmart and print them out on your own computer. So
yeah.
You kind of touched on it just a little bit about like consistency, and that was actually like my next thing that I had jotted down here. Because the thing to me about consistency, and everybody always says you got to make sure you're consistent, right? But the thing is, you got to remember that your amount of consistency, like what it is for you, might not be what it is for me. Like I'm able to do a video every day, right? Maybe because I have nothing else going on. And when you start to have like families and kids and, you know, maybe you got a second job or something, things take a shift, right? So I've seen some people who, like Anthony Levine, right? He does, I want to say 2 videos a week, right? There's some people who I know for a long time were only doing like a video on Saturdays and maybe like a live at some point else through the week. So consistency is what it is to you, right? It's not going to be the same for everybody. So just kind of keep that in mind. Right. So for me, and going back to one of the things that the Wise Soul brought up earlier, when I'm recording multiple videos, it's because that saves a lot of time. Like I don't want to set up all this stuff, right, every day. You know what I'm saying? If I can just record like 4 or 5 videos today and then edit them, say I edit on Monday night, it's released on Tuesday. Edit on Tuesday night, it's released on Wednesday. It just saves a lot of time in the long run, especially once you get into your groove of how you edit your videos. I've done a whole separate video on that, so you can go and check that out at some other point. But that's just something I want to put out there. But on the topic of consistency, what do you guys have to add to that?
I do think consistency is key. I've had my ups and downs throughout my YouTube journey. When I first started out, my first year in YouTube, I uploaded 185 videos. And I don't think I've beat that since. But I was trying to do a video, you know, every other day. But life hits, and I can kind of tell from my channel now that my infrequency has halted my channel a little bit. But I can only blame myself for that because, you know, I just wasn't putting the time in. I had I'd say lost my motivation, so to speak, for YouTube. And as I'm back and trying to find it and getting back to my old self, it's a struggle, kind of fighting out of the hole. But had I kept that same consistency the entire way, I'd probably be in a totally different position than I'm in now.
Yeah, that is very true. That's the thing. You gotta, like it was said earlier, you gotta kind of find that balance because you don't want to burn yourself out, but you do want to stay busy, so to speak, you know? Like for me, I'm probably gonna take one of my little breaks or whatever once these, probably after this week, because I think I'll be done with all my reviews. And I'm not burned out or anything. It's just like, all right, you know what? I've been going pretty strong for a while. I had a pretty good December, you know, as far as view time, mostly because people were at home. And so it's like I've earned a little bit of a break, and then I'll come back eventually. And
I had to check on last time. I was like, hold up, bro, where you at? Where you at? Something ain't right.
Yeah, consistency is definitely key. And you just have to find your own personal level of consistency. So like if you feel like you only are able to drop one video a week, maybe you want to shoot for more quality over quantity, so to speak. You know, that one video, if you're going to drop one video a week, make that the best one video you drop every week. So that even though you might not have a large catalog for people to go through, you have something visually appealing for them to want to stay and see the next one that you drop.
Yeah. And I feel like that was, like when I look at, like, say my stuff or whatever, there's a lot of room for improvement as far as the presentation goes. But when you're working with a certain frequency, unless, I mean, if you don't have an actual job and this is all you do, maybe it's going to be different for you, but that's not the case for me. So when it comes to me, it's like, I'm going to make that sacrifice of not learning all this other stuff I can do in After Effects or Premiere or whatever. And I'm going to get you what you need, right? I'm going to get you some pictures in there and a non-foot at the end and hope that it's enough, right?
A lot of times when you see those insane videos and from that one channel and you're getting like 2 or 3 of those insane videos a week, it's because they've got a team behind them. Like they're recording the video, then after they're done recording, their friends or somebody is actually doing the editing and dropping. They're not doing it all by themselves. You'll notice a difference between a YouTuber that's doing the recording side, the posting side outside of YouTube, like IG or something like that, and the dropping. You'll notice a difference. You will definitely notice a difference between a singular and a team YouTube, you know, environment. So just because, you know, your quality of video might not be like the quality of somebody like maybe like a Seth Fowler or somebody like that, does not mean that your video will not be quality and people won't look at your video. So,
because also a video can look good and be bad. So
that's true.
On the quality of the content itself, right?
Yeah.
Because there's you can dip too far into one lane and then just over. Right? So don't want that. What about you, McFly? Anything to throw in on there?
No, y'all pretty much covered that one.
All right, cool. But and then one other thing, as far as, you know, again, still talking about like growth and getting yourself out there and whatever. Everybody has what they consider to be their path, like where they're trying to go, what they want each video to do as far as numbers or what they're looking for in general. So how do you guys measure your progress from like month to month, year to year, whatever? I'll say for me, one of the biggest things that I look at is the comment section. And you guys know that I'm always in that comment section. But the thing is, when I see new people, like new names that I don't recognize, and they're like starting to be in there like more regularly, and they're having like, they're saying things that have some substance to them, and we're having a little back and forth talking about like, yeah, I was thinking about getting these or those, but I picked up the 2018 pair, and blah, blah, you know, when you start having these conversations with more and more random people, that to me says that, okay, I'm still reaching and still pulling in new people, because the subscriber count is going to go up regardless, right? Those numbers don't mean a whole lot. The amount of people that actually watch your videos, like I have however many subscribers, sure, but does each video pull in at least that number of views? No, of course it doesn't.
Right.
So I look at the people that are coming in and actually watching this stuff and like taking something away from it. So when they say, oh, like, so you're saying that this is compared to these, I didn't really think that'd be the case, because it's like, oh, okay, you caught that. Like, cool, you know, people are actually watching. So for me, that's what I like, because I built this channel as one of the reasons they like have engagement with people, and
Right.
that shows me that. So that's how I measure my own personal progress, not so much the other stuff. What about you guys?
For a little guy like myself, basically anything is, you know, anything as far as viewers, subs, commenting is a, you know, something that I look forward to. If I compare my first set of videos, my views to now, it's astronomical. It's like almost 100-fold, and that's something that's like really exciting to see. The fact that hundreds of people decided to give my videos a look, even if it was for 10 seconds. Like that's 10 seconds, and I was able to entertain somebody. Talking down in the comment section, I absolutely comment section. That is, or I forgot about that shoe, but watching this video brought it back to the forefront of my mind, and maybe I'll reach back and grab it, you know, because what you've done makes it look worthy enough, in my opinion, to give it a second thought. The likes, and the likes, they're not so important for me, because that can go either way. Like I said earlier, some people will like it, some people won't. And even if people do like it, they'll forget to hit that like button. But yeah, like, but the most important things, or the most exciting things for me are, you know, looking at the views and looking at the comments.
All right. Yeah, I'm one of those people, like, I forget about that like button. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I leave my comments, you know what I mean? But that is because before I started actually doing this, I didn't even comment. I just would watch the video and just call it a day. You know what I mean? Now it's like I watch it and I'll say my little 2 cents or whatever. And then usually if I'm like casting to the TV, I'll put something in there, and then the next video pops up and I'm like, watch that and say a little something. Next video pops up. So yeah, that's just me. What about you?
Comments are absolutely better than the likes.
Yeah, I try to gauge mine basically on a 1K view average. I want to dream in life that every video I upload is going to get 1,000 views, and if it doesn't, I need to figure out why it didn't, or I need to do something different to try to get it there. Now, every video ain't gonna hit 1K in a day. You know, some may not hit it in a week, some may not hit it in a month, some may not hit it in 6 months. But the end goal is to essentially get it there. I noticed that my channel is doing well when I do newer videos. Any video that I get out on time, 9 times out of 10 is gonna have 1,000+ views. But the older videos is what I'm trying to swing now. The older product, the shoes that have been out, is what I'm trying to get more viewership on those. But the comment definitely helps. Seeing strangers is always a plus. It's always a boost. It's always a motivator to know that people are paying attention. I also pay a lot of attention to audience retention and how long people actually watch. Yeah, that makes, because if you get like over 50% of your viewers there, YouTube pushes your video more. It's hard to get 50 to 60% viewership on a video for the full duration. But if you can get it, those videos do they achieve far more than your videos that don't, and that's really something to pay attention to.
Man, I put some of my little 1-minute Instagram videos on YouTube, and those don't even get the full watch. I'm like, you can't get me
a minute. Sheesh. Tough crowd.
It's like, all right, then. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just gonna see what happens. But so as far as measuring progress, and like you were saying, one of the things that I kind of look at with the video views is that I try not to get too focused on them immediately. I mean, it's hard not to like at least be curious. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put up a video, like for the next day, you're gonna be wondering like, oh, how well is it doing, right? But sometimes you got to be honest with yourself, like how many people are really trying to watch an unboxing of Toka and Razor, right? Maybe not everybody. But over time, if your videos have some kind of quality behind them, or it's something that can just stand on longevity, you know what I mean? Like if it's say like Ultra Boost reviews, right? A lot of people, from what I've been seeing, and I'm gonna say this about just your general standard shoes, right? They don't necessarily need the review of the color that they're looking for. They just need the review for the information that you're gonna give them, right? Mm-hmm. So if somebody knows that you're gonna do a review over like the new Ultra Boost 20, then good, right? They'll get from that what it kind of looks like, how it feels compared to other things, and then they can go and know if it's worth buying, and they'll do that. So sometimes videos like that will stand for a while, because even my Vapor Max Flynet 3 video for the multicolor one, that was, I don't remember that being a very good video, but to this day, it's one of my most watched ones. You know what I mean? The information, I mean, the shoe is dated, but it's also still out there in a million colors. So let's see. What the next thing though was, so when you are looking, and I'm sure everybody does it to some extent, even if it's not a whole lot, how much attention do you pay to what other people are doing as far as what they're implementing in their videos, or what kind of videos they're even reviewing as far as shoes or anything? Do you guys pay any attention to that? Zero from McFly.
Yeah, but the only reason I say zero is because I mean I watch a lot of people's videos, and it's a lot of different things that people do that are, you know, cool. I think they're great ideas, but at the end of the day, that's their thing. If I'm doing something that say somebody else is doing, it's not necessarily my thing anymore. I don't like incorporating other people's stuff into what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, where I come from, I feel like that's jacking, and we don't jack people. Even though I'm going to jack that timestamp idea, but other than that, I'm not jacking. I'm not jacking nothing else. Nothing else. You know, just like the same reason why if I got a shoe coming in, I don't watch nobody else's video on that shoe until I've done my review. Yeah, just because I don't want, you know, you get to talking and you'll say something that you heard in somebody else's video. You know, so it's just like, nah, I gotta wait, and then once I review it, then I can go back and, you know, get your take on it and whoever else's take on it. So that's the main reason why, you know, I try to keep everything organic and necessarily my idea. But, you know, at some point down the line, you're gonna need help. You're gonna see something that you like, and you might be inclined to use it, but I try not to the best I can.
I will say one thing that, and I bring this up fairly regularly, is that, again, people like JJ All Day, he does his videos in different settings. You know, sometimes it'll be outside, sometimes it might be in a different whatever. But the outside ones, like, that's something that I would like to do just because it seems nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't do it because there's a lot of variables in there. I don't want to get out there and be all windy and stuff. But that's one of the things I see, and I'm like, okay, I would like to do that, you know. But going by what McFly is saying, I'm not trying to take anybody's like idea, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I say that as far as like the actual presentation of the review, because again, the whole carbon copy thing, it's like, McFly, you remember that episode with like Master Shake and the copy, right?
Of course. You put your hand in the pool, ain't no telling what's coming out. You got no deformed clones running around and all type of stuff.
Yeah, you can't have that. What about you, Homegrown? Before we answer Wise Soul's question.
I completely agree with what both of you all said. Now, there's only so many different ways you can do a shoe review. So
that's true too.
Naturally, things are going to seem the same. But I try to stick with, who I am or what I feel I might like to see when I do a review. So I mean, that's that's what I like to do. And like McFly said, I won't, if I have the shoe and I want to do a review on it, I won't watch anybody else's review until after I've done mine. So I guess that would be like a rule of thumb for me.
One of my biggest things with that is that I don't want something someone else says to kind of taint my view. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's easy to stand on your own and put it out of your head, sure, but you don't want to go into it with some kind of less than stellar outlook already.
Right.
Let's see. What was this question? Is too much different content not good? Sneakers and sports, but I want to add movies and shoe reviews. So that, and obviously some of your subscribers will say that no, they're only there for the one thing.
Yeah.
But I can only speak for myself, right? And I'll let everybody else speak for themselves. But with me, there have been a couple people that said they started watching because of the wrestling stuff that I do sometimes. And then now that since they see this stuff in their feed once in a while, they watch stuff about shoes too. They may not watch every video, but they watch some of it if the shoe at least looks kind of cool to them, right? And I can respect that. And then you also have the other side of things where if I put something out there, like obviously this started as a shoe channel and that's what it is, but I've built a few connections with people based off of that other stuff. So if I had never talked about collecting action figures or if I never talked about movies or whatever, there are some people that I would probably just never have really connected with on that level. You know what I mean? So for me, it's worth it because that's how you start to see what all else these people are into. And then you can kind of see like, oh, you know what? Like me and this guy, we get along great, because we both like all this stuff. So from that aspect, I say do it. I don't know where everybody else stands, but I say it's worth it just on a personal level.
I think it's a fine line, between the two, because my channel originally was discussion and sneakers. I incorporated Funko Pops. Then I incorporated live streams for wrestling and boxing. Then I incorporated Funko Pops after that. And I noticed that the lack of viewership on the Funko end was affecting my overall viewership. So I split the Funkos out to do my own Funko channel to let that grow organically on its own. So I'm transitioning everything that's on my page that's Funko to my Funko page, as well as putting up new content to keep it going. My live streams, on the rare occasion that I do them, I keep them because they get decent views. It's not hurting the channel because the views are up. So I leave those there. So I'd say it's really a matter of viewership. If you have something niche and it's a niche for it, I'd say put it on something different. Put it on its own channel just to keep that niche over there. But if it's getting high views, then let it rip. Ain't no need to let it move if it's generating, if you're getting good views on it, keep it. If you're not, let it grow on its own somewhere else so it doesn't hurt your overall channel.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good way to look at it. Again, going back to the retention page on the studio.
Yeah. There you go. McFly said it all. Yeah, because basically, if your channel is not set up to showcase a multitude of things, like you got some channels, they do unboxings, and the unboxings are of everything across the board. It might be unboxings of action figures, cell phones, like random food testing. If that's not what your channel is, if your channel is geared toward one specific thing, then yeah, you might want to save all of those other things for something different or for a channel that does a multitude of things. But again, if it works, it works. If it hurts, try something different. And
again, also if it's two things that are different but close enough to where like the audiences kind of overlap, sort of like what King's 23 Kicks does with his Saturday lives, where he talks about shoes and sports. You know, a lot of people are into both, right? You know, so they'll go in there, they'll talk about the new basketball trades, and then they'll talk about, you know, the Iverson restock or something, you know what I mean? So sometimes you do have that, you kind of play that.
Live, you know, because lives you can cover anything on a live.
That that's
live. You know, we talking live streams, then you can do lives. Your lives are going to get views regardless. But you know, in the aspect of actual videos, that's what I was speaking.
Yeah, there is that. That is a bit of a line there that is worth acknowledging. Can't say it isn't. Now, as far as more of like just general advice or anything, and I know you kind of said some things throughout the video, but what are a few things that you want to just maybe, if you had to recap, or things you haven't brought up yet that you maybe wish that you knew from day one when you started?
How time consuming this stuff was. how to not get caught up in things that aren't right with the community, because it becomes a bit of a bore. You know, you get not a bore but a burden. You know, for one, allocate time to do this and stuff, and that was my biggest thing. But I'm a person that when I commit to something, I commit to it totally, good, bad, ugly, all that. And there's a lot of things in this community happen currently that I can't stand, and I was letting that kind of bog me down to a point where I just didn't really want to do it. So if you just keep your motivation, stay away and try not to pay attention to things that, you know, put a damper on your day. Not necessarily a damper on your day, but make you less interested. You know, surround yourself with people who continue to grind, who are positive, on the right track. Yeah, I'm still on, girl. See, look. You see this? But yeah, just simple stuff like that. Stay motivated, and that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah, same here. As far as things go for me, I don't know, other than just some of the technical YouTube things, I don't really think that I've learned anything along the way that I wish I had known. You know what I mean? Because obviously everybody knows that no matter what community you get into, there's going to be people that are worth being around, and then there's going to be some people that aren't, right? I've been pretty lucky over here to have mostly just associated myself with people that are good, upstanding citizens, and McFly, of course. So past that, I don't really have too much to throw in there. And I will say, though, the time-consuming portion of it is something that's good to know. But at the same time, it kind of depends on you, because if you, like McFly, I kind of feel like I'm the same way. Like when I get my head in the zone, like that's it, right? I will block out so many other things. And right. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna do this and finish this. Next thing you know, I've been editing for like 2 hours. I'm like, man, I need to do something else, I'm sure of it. What about you, Homegrown?
I would definitely say, if you're doing it, make sure it's something that you want to do, and understand what's involved in doing it. Because if you start this thinking that you're going to jump right into it day one and, you know, make large amounts of money off of it, nah. You are setting yourself up for a painful failure.
Yeah, I'm looking to get into that in a minute.
And to understand, again, like you all have said, the time, the tech side of it, basically get a grasp. And once you get that information, make sure you fully understand what you're about to embark on, because not everybody is built for it. It is definitely hard work, and a lot of people don't understand the hard work because they don't see it, or they feel like they might not see it. But yeah, it's just a good level of understanding, and understand how to utilize your tags, because because looking at my tags again.
Yeah, we did that session on that. But don't worry, we're gonna dig into that in a minute here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna hit the tag. But but yeah, it is a lot to kind of take in there, you know, as far as thinking about all this stuff, keeping your head straight and everything. But I'm gonna go and jump into the next portion here. If you guys happen to have any tips as far as like your workflow goes, though, as far as any little tips you may have found that work for you, or any suggestions you might have for people to kind of streamline making their videos or anything like that. I'm a huge fan of like the cloud storage and like the Google Documents and stuff. So if I start typing on my laptop, I can pull it up on my phone. You know, I like just being able to transfer the files between them seamlessly. That helps with the editing a lot, so I don't get locked into just one spot.
Yeah, and TubeBuddy used to help me a ton because you could just get in there, set your format, and it'll have everything ready for you. Just to save you on time. Because before I was doing the TubeBuddy thing, I was doing a lot of copy and pasting. Just type it all out in my phone, copy it, paste it to the thing, just to, you know, get it over there. While it's uploading, I'm typing up the description. But you do your TubeBuddy, it'll put your cards automatically where you want them, your end screen automatically how you want it. You can have certain templates and stuff that you can upload for your description. You still have to do your tags, but it's a lot of stuff to save a ton of times in the app if you want to pay for it. If you don't want to pay for it, I understand. But
yeah, I'm on the cheap side myself. But that's the thing, like depending on what you want to get out of something, you got to kind of look at how much you're willing to put into it, right?
Right. That is true. I'm cheap myself, so I can't do the TubeBuddy route just yet. But
there's no such thing as a cheap sneaker YouTuber.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but but there's some money that doesn't have, or some funds, I should say, that don't have as much, and I don't put a lot into that. I'll buy the shoes, but even then, I'm still kind of cheap on certain things. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I have a very firm no resale thing. I don't like paying retail either. So, but you know, buy a lot of running shoes, so I generally am okay. But what was the next thing? So the next part, and I'll just paste this. I did a video a while ago. If you want to watch that, you can. Whatever, it doesn't matter if you don't. About my standard workflow from start to finish, as far as everything from the moment I set up the camera to the moment that I publish the video. So if you want to scroll through that, it's a good watch, right? It's a good length though. So I'd say double up on the time, and it'll only take you 10 minutes to get through it. But going back to the topics at hand, though, the behind the scenes things, right? So one of the myths that seem to be running wild amongst some circles is that if you jump into sneaker YouTube, you're going to make a whole bunch of money, or YouTube in general. That's not always the case. Am I right or am I right?
Absolutely right.
Exactly. Because here's the thing, right? When it comes to and I'm not going to dig super deep into how it all works, because I don't know some of the specifics, but the biggest thing that you might need to remember is that, for one, not every video is going to show every viewer the same ads, which means you're not going to get the same per ad seen.
Right.
I mean, some people won't even see the ads, right? And then you have some people that, let's say, like McFly has a playlist or several playlists. So if somebody clicks on one of those playlists and they leave the room, they're getting all the ads, right? Every last one of them.
I encourage that. Please click the playlist and just walk out the room.
Exactly.
So, watch if you want to watch, but you know.
So some people, you know, because of things like that, and someone had mentioned that before, like sometimes they'll click on a playlist and just let things kind of pass through, and they'll just see what all they missed, right? So when you look at all these things at the end of the day, you got to look and say, okay, well, where all are my views coming from, and where all is my ad revenue coming from? So don't think just because each video gets X number of views that it's all going to pay out the same. Because in some cases, and I noticed this when I was doing a video for my top 10 monetized shoes or something like that, whatever it was called, some long convoluted name. I noticed that not all of my most watched videos were my most paid off videos or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So give that some thought. And at the end of the day, the other thing to remember is that if you're doing this just to make money, you have already made a bad decision, and you should go and find maybe like a job. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I mean,
I keep forgetting about like ads and things like that, and it's always a surprise to me to remember about ads. Like every time I hear about an ad being on a YouTube video, I'm like, oh yeah, they do ads. So people who watch videos through the ads and everything, you know, I gotta give them all the props in the world, because I have YouTube Premium, and you don't get ads with YouTube Premium, so that's why I easily forget about them.
yeah, and that's same here because I got that music subscription a while ago, and that just kind of brought that in with it. Where's the
anybody that I watch, I'll let your ads run. I don't skip them. I sat through 2-hour ads for people. I mean, one lady, you know, that happened. And it was actually some lady's concert, and I was actually into it. It was dope. I forgot I was watching the video. I was like, man, this is off the chain. It was some rock group with some lady was the lead singer. Man, they was killing it. That was off the chain. But I guess the best advice that I could give, if you're looking for financial gain, to give you some insight, it took me exactly 1 year to get monetized. 1 year, 185 uploads to get monetized, roughly slightly over 100,000 views to get my 4,000 hours monetization and all that good stuff. So before you decide to go out here, because what I did was I got a camera, bought everything up front, dropped like $1,700 off rip, and had to wait an entire year to start getting that revenue back. So I'd say use your phone, use your computer, use whatever you got before you start spending money to make sure it's something that you really want to do. Because I just went all in, like, yeah, I'm gonna be in YouTube forever. Let's get it. But I probably should have just started out with the phone and graduated as I went along. But
man, I started with my phone, then bought like a $300 camera, nothing crazy, and then bought a new phone later, and now it's back to the phone. Everything that I've recorded, every video I've done since all through last year, and some of the ones at the end of 2019, all Note 10, right? And you get decent lighting. I would say that's something worth investing into, because different lighting or good lighting can make a huge difference if you don't have a good camera.
Right.
And it's cheaper than buying a camera.
I mean, your phone is basically a DSLR now. I have the Galaxy 20 Ultra, and it shoots in 8K. So,
what? 8K?
Yeah, that's basically your high dollar DSLR right there.
Yeah, the one thing to keep in mind, though, of course, if you're recording on a phone, is space limitations. And current versions of Android, possibly iOS, there is a max size limit somewhere around the 4 gig mark. If you're doing 4K, that's going to get you about 11-ish minutes. 4K 60 frames per second is going to get you about 7 minutes. 1080p, don't even think about it, because like then the files are so small as far as bitrate goes that you're good on mostly anything. But 8K is probably going to be that much worse. So I do mine in 4K, and I do try to stay within the confines of that.
And the higher your resolution, the longer it takes to upload that video.
Right, that's very true.
Yes, because all my videos are now like in the 4 gig range, and it takes forever to upload. Well, the upload isn't bad, but it takes forever to process.
Yeah,
I
that's
did
what
notice that.
about the phone. Because anything I do on my phone, I have to send it to the Google Drive. Then I have to pull it from the Google Drive to put in an iMovie. Excuse me, to do the iMovie thing, and then I gotta send it to YouTube. It's like, nah, it's too much work.
Okay, yeah. We'll skip over all that, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. But one thing that I wanted to get on again, and let me find the screen share thing, was about the source of your watches and whatnot. So I know we talked about this before. So this is just like the straight up analytics screen under reach. So if you're ever curious where all your views are coming from, you can look at your playlist and you see, okay, and this is just over the last 28 days right now. You can change that up here if you need to. But looking over here, it seems that for whatever reason, lately it's been the Adidas reviews and the Nike reviews that have been pulling everything in, followed just barely by wrestling. And then I review Jordans, but I am by no means a Jordan-centric channel. Everybody knows that. So it's not surprising that my Jordan reviews get no views whatsoever, except for that anomaly in the reverse flu game, Varsity Reds. But I happened to get that review out relatively early, so there you go with that. And then you can see over here with like the traffic, like where it's coming from. That doesn't matter as much to me most of the time. But down here, this portion, right? So people typing in Yeezy, Sand, Taupe, and Nike React Vision, Air Max 97, Vapor Max, right? Those are the things that we're bringing people in to this here channel. And if you click on the see more, then it'll expand and you can see all the other stuff, right? So in case you're curious about what people are really looking at on your channel, you have that. So I'm not going to say you should just only buy what people are watching, but just know that it might help. You know what I mean? If you happen to like slides or if you happen to like Yeezys, you know what I mean? This shows you that you can probably count on those videos doing well. So if you're thinking about picking up a pair, it's almost, well, I'm not gonna say it's guaranteed, but there's gonna be a high likeliness of people watching it because, again, you just look at that. But now looking at the lifetime thing, let's see what that shows. It's probably gonna be a little more across the board. So Vapor Max Flynet 3, React Vision, Air Max 3, Vapor Max, Air Max, Air Max. Obviously, this is what tells the true story of the channel, right? Because I'm a big Air Max trainer, Vapor Max kind of guy. So that's why those rank so highly for me. Now, obviously, this is going back to January of 2019. So there's a lot to consider in there, right? But it's just something to think about when you're looking at analyzing where all your traffic is coming from. And then these videos that are out there suggesting your videos, these don't really matter a whole lot to me, but it's just nice to know that there's a bunch of random stuff out there that was, suggesting my content, right?
Can you click see more under Google search and all that? I want to see if you got some of that crazy crap that I got.
This one, the external?
Yeah.
So I will say earlier last year, VK Mag gave me a huge boost. It's a Dutch review website or something, and they linked one of my videos in it. I got all kinds of views on that Air Max 90 slide.
Yeah, man, I have these random. What is that?
So, like, I got one from Hibbit.com, right? I don't know, not quite sure how that worked. Maybe I reviewed something on there.
Yeah, you got
Instagrams, and once you start digging down in here, you start to see some random other stuff. Amazon, AWS, web service. So after a while, it's just kind of some stuff you don't necessarily need. But overall, just in general, looking at your analytics is what helps a lot. But then we'll just go and pick off a video that was recent. What is one that did all right? Okay, here we go. This one, what was that? The Radiant Reds. So analytics. And when I say it did all right, I mean like the over the 1,000 mark. Because not all of them do, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. So where is that? And that's cool. It tells you like how many people like subscribe to your video or unsubscribed. I have a couple of those. And so again, like I was talking about last time, the traffic search, right, or traffic source by searches and stuff. These are what people are searching for to bring them to this video. So make sure you use those tags, or at least consider using those tags in your next Air Max video. Or if you happen to get a 98, consider taking these tags and just replacing that 7 with an 8, because when you're putting stuff out on YouTube, right, you want to have some of the tags that are a little specific, and you want to have some that aren't, because there are a lot of people that just jump on there and they just type in Air Max 97, right? They're probably looking for something specific, or maybe they aren't, but if they just type that in, you would like to be one of the things that comes up, right? But at the same time, you also want Air Max 97 Radiant Red or infrared or whatever color to be one of the things as well. And then these, I think these are all, no, some of these are mine, not all of them. And then there's other people that are suggesting my stuff. And yeah, so a lot of the same things, traffic sources and all that stuff. More people are finding it by searching for it than browsing for it. I don't know exactly what they mean by browsing, but I just know that people are searching and finding it. And that's kind of like what you're going for in this line here, or whatever that is. So that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to get into is, again, as far as the tagging and all that stuff goes. So there's a little paragraph of me rambling on because I do that. And then you got some timestamps, and then down here. And if I was looking at this in Chrome, you'd probably see the two buddy things clicking around, showing you what where your rank is. But then you just have a lot of what I was saying before, and a lot of these tags are often in the description because it makes sense that way. So make sure you're doing that. Just kind of, it's a little redundant, but you know, sometimes that's what you need. So that just kind of covers the traffic and the labeling and whatnot. And I don't know if anybody really had any other questions or anything about anything we didn't cover or need us to go back on anything. Haven't seen any. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I haven't seen any stuff come up in the chat. So guessing we're good. It's because like I posted something in there before and then it just stopped. So it looks like nobody's said anything in the comment section in like good 10, 15 minutes. I mean, are you guys seeing the same thing?
Yep. That's the last message I got.
All right, cool. So, well, if that's that, unless you guys want to throw in another 2 cents or something you want to throw out there to the people, we'll hit some outros and call it a day.
Last little bit is, don't go into it with delusions. Be yourself and have fun, I guess.
Yeah, really, because that's the easiest way to really make it is to just get out there. And the thing we've said many times throughout this, the running theme is to just be yourself, right? Because as HomeGrown says, as McFly says, not everybody's going to like you, and that's fine. Not everybody likes everything, right? That's why stuff comes in different flavors. Right. So just put yourself out there, and eventually the people that want to hear what you have to say will find you. As long as you tag yourself right and stuff.
Right.
Don't mind me.
It's bow tie.
Don't mind me.
What is going on over here? But yeah, so I guess that's going to be that. Then we can go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. So what? Okay. So yeah, we'll go around, let you guys hit your little outros, and then we will part ways for the day. So I can record a video, and you guys can do whatever it is you have to do for today.
Eat.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy HomeGrown Kicks. Follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter. Don't forget to head over to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I hope you all learned something today in this video. If not, hey, I don't know what to tell you. We've dropped a lot of jewels, as they say, to help you along your path, things that I wish I would have known when I first started. So take the information, do what you will, but please be sure you watch the whole video. Obviously, you won't make it to this portion if you didn't watch the whole video. So, hey, you're lost. But yeah, go ahead and support the other people that decided to tune in, especially Jezzy Christ, McFly, and especially Shoes Up, Sleeves Down. And have a great Sunday.
All right.
Yeah, I'll start this off by saying thank you for having me, Shoes Up, once again. Always a pleasure. Please don't charge me rent. And other than that, man, it's a ton of gems in this video for people who are gonna go back and watch it and see it. The only bad thing is that, you know, analytics isn't entertaining. It's not entertaining by any means, but it is what it is. It's extremely helpful, and everybody, if you want to be successful at YouTube, you got to go through it. You got to dig in and you got to understand it, or else your success is. So it is what it is, man. Take opportunities like this to get these gems, spend some time. You know, he gave you visuals and everything. You can't really beat that. He was inclined enough to show his own real life statistics, and most people won't do that.
Yeah.
So,
right.
You know, huge credit, huge shout out for Shoes Up for being transparent and really letting you guys in to see what you really need to see to be semi-successful. Because, you know, we all still small time, even though he's bigger than me. But, you know, it is what it is. Just take the advice and move at your own pace. Do what you can. And happy YouTubing to all you YouTubers.
Because that's the thing, like, because all this stuff that we talked about, if your average person went into it knowing this, regardless of what your intentions are, if you went into it knowing this, like, it could have, think about yourself. Had you known some of this stuff from day one, had someone sat down and talked to you like come here, young McFly, let me tell you some things about analytics, like what to look for and all this stuff, you would have, like, where you are now, you would have been there a long time ago. So you know, you'd just be that much better off. And the same goes for the other people that, like, again, some people were in there, they were asking questions, we were doing our best to answer them. So like I was saying before, I make the jokes, sure, but in reality, the only thing that I'm going for here is for at least somebody to have come through and left with something that they did not have when they walked in the door, right?
Definitely. And
I saw some people in there saying, oh yeah, okay, cool, like I didn't think about that. Good, we did it. You know, this is a success. And so hopefully people that grab something out of it, take it, and they transfer that knowledge on to somebody else and kind of keep the circle going. We'll see. But yeah, it's a lot of information, you know, but hopefully people will just kind of watch that, realize it's not too long, and just take something from it. We'll see what happens. Check the analytics later. But for now, we're good. Thank you to you two for joining me. I do appreciate you chiming in, sharing your perspectives and all that good stuff. It's always appreciated to get a view that is not my own, because I'm not that self-centered, right? So again, seriously, thank you very much. To everybody that came through, I appreciate that as well. But for now, we are going to go ahead and get on out of here. I will probably be back with various videos through the week, scheduled out, and I might be doing a live on Tuesday. Nothing big, just like one of those things where I'm going to unbox a couple shoes or something because they're coming in at the same time, and then I'll do the actual reviews later, assuming they get here on time. That'll probably happen on Tuesday. Say that again?
I said nice.
Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things. I haven't really sat down and hung out with the people for a little bit. So, you know, that's usually when I do that. Let people ask whatever questions they have, show off whatever they want to see. You know, it's one of those things. You guys are welcome to be there if you can make it. I know McFly is an essential worker, and therefore sometimes has things that he has to do outside of this. But if you see the notification go off, come on by. But for now, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And we'll catch you later, people.